what Independence Day means to me. Independence Day symbolizes the birth of the freest and most prosperous nation in human history, which has given innumerable benefits to mankind in every aspect of human life. It also symbolizes the creation of an extraordinary experiment in self-government that combines the wisdom of ancient civilizations. However, it also includes innate eternal principles of human rights, as well as corrective mechanisms to prevent either mob rule or dictatorship. And personally, since I grew up under communism, Independence Day is especially meaningful as a contrast and an example of what it means to have a society that's predicated on a deep, fundamental respect for the innate rights of individuals, the right to life, the right to liberty, to pursuit of happiness, the right to property. These are things that totalitarian socialist societies do not have. And I think it is very important that we educate young people to know the difference between the basic systems in human history and human government, so that they could truly appreciate the remarkable achievements of this nation and are not quick to dismiss them. And we need to preserve the best traditions of the American founding. And two quotations come to mind when I think of the birth of the United States of America. One is by Benjamin Franklin, who wrote that without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom, and no such thing as public liberty without freedom of speech, which is the right of every man, as far as by it he does not hurt or control the right of another. And the other quotation that I think of, which makes the American government so unique, is by James Madison in the Federalist Papers, who wrote that a good government implies two things. First, fidelity to the object of government, which is the happiness of the people. Secondly, a knowledge of the means by which that object can be best attained. And as we all know, the bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. That is why we should go back to our original, amazing, humane founding principles and preserve this great country. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mingvian Nguyen, and I'm a scout of Troop 881 in Springfield, Virginia. Today, I will share with you what Independence Day means to me. Independence Day, or July 4th, is the birth date of our nation. It began with a historical document called the Declaration of Independence, which was drafted by Thomas Jefferson and adopted by the delegates from the 13 colonies on July 4th, 1776. The Declaration of Independence lists 27 acts of abuse that the despotic King George III of England committed upon the people of the 13 colonies. The Declaration of Independence declares that the King of England is unfit to be the ruler of the free people of the 13 colonies, that all ties with England are dissolved, and that these colonies are free and independent states. To me, the most notable passage in the Declaration of Independence is, "Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed." Independence Day reminds me that we, the free people, decide who to serve us, and that the government is chosen by us to protect our unalienable rights, freedom, and happiness. There is a quote from Frederick Douglass, "Nothing valuable shall be obtained without labor and agony." This quote reminds me of the sacrifices our founders made to fight for independence and the freedom that we enjoy today. There is another great quote from Frederick Douglass, "Those who profess to favor freedom and yet deprecate agitation are men who want crops without plowing up the ground." So, in order to remain free, we must be cautious of the government's actions and work very hard to make sure that the government serves us and does not control us. Happy Independence Day, everyone!
Just like the Independence Day in 1776, this one in 2021 signifies to me that there are many similarities between the two events. For starters, there was no middle ground, no room for compromise between our founding fathers and those who confronted their quest for independence. Today, we find ourselves in a similar position. For those of us who are called patriots, we are now being marked. This time as patriot extremists by many like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and their fellow progressive travelers. Just like the original founders and signers to the Declaration were marked by their British rulers. Let us turn briefly to see how we got to this tragic point of similarity between events 245 years apart. In his book, The Political Theory of the American Founding, Thomas G. West argues that the Founding Fathers believed the principal roles of government is to secure for each citizen their natural, individual rights and to promote the duties of citizenship of each member of a free society. The founders felt that at the core of our natural rights was life, liberty, property ownership, and religious freedom, along with the pursuit of happiness. But the founders did not believe that such rights were without limits. Such restrictions, however, were not of man's making. Rather, they were established by a higher divine authority that the founders clearly acknowledged and repeatedly obeyed as the laws of nature. Ironically, just as this bold, exceptional experiment in public governance was coming to life, another idea was also taking shape in 1776 that would eventually oppose what the founders were creating. Thousands of miles away in Bavaria, Germany, 5 men met in secret and took the name of the Bavarian Order of the Illuminati. The group would later have a profound influence on Karl Marx. According to Matthew Lohmeyer in his recently published book, Irresistible Revolution, the Illuminati promoted an end to religion while advancing the perfectibility of man to overcome the state and the church. The rest is now a matter of historical record. Unfortunately, on this Independence Day of 2021, there may still be another secret group, now consisting of globalists, socialists, and communists who are orchestrating the takedown of what our founding fathers established. But unlike the Illuminati that originally birthed this movement, the tactics being used to destroy us are now in plain sight. The red-green axis is attempting to divide and conquer us by promoting political correctness, abolition of free speech, and the critical race theory, all wrapped in the misrepresentation and revision of our history and the founders themselves within the 1619 Project. Once again, there is no room for compromise, no opportunity for negotiations. The battle lines are drawn to either protect America's soul as envisioned in 1776 or to supplant it with post-modernist socialism where individual liberty is lost forever.
Dear friends, I'm wishing all of you a very fine Independence Day. My name is Mrs. Abigail Adams, and I'm the first Second Lady and the second First Lady of the United States of America. I was also known as Mrs. President. Remain faithful in your endeavors and keep the blue flame of liberty burning bold in your hearts. A calm is not desirable in any situation in life. We are made for action. As my dearest friend and husband John said, liberty, once lost, is lost forever. Dr. Benjamin Rush spoke these true words. Patriotism is as much a virtue as justice, as is necessary for the support of societies as natural affection for the support of families. Throughout history, we have had many challenges, both great and small. As I wrote to my dearest John, we have too many high-sounding words and too few actions that correspond with them. Be bold and courageous in protecting freedom and liberty for all. God bless the United States of America.
Instant graduate degree in political science. Too many Americans have deliberately been cut off from their heritage and no longer understand the set of ideas the country started with, or why the founders' ideals remain important today. Understand these ideas, and you will know more about your country than many politicians or college graduates. These ideas are simple to grasp, yet more powerful than the mightiest army. America is a special place. It's the only country in all of human history founded on an idea, individual liberty. The Declaration of Independence states that you have the unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These rights are not something the government gives you. As an American, you are born with these rights. Some say these rights come from nature and call them natural rights. Others say they come from God and call them God-given rights. The point is, your rights don't come from government or even the Constitution. What the government cannot give, it cannot take away. This is the true meaning of the American Revolution. And it was truly astounding. For the first time ever, a government was instituted to protect the rights of the people, not the privileged few or those who will set themselves up as your rulers or benefactors. The purpose of government is to protect your rights. In fact, the founders instituted a system of limited government so that your rights could never be taken away from you. Not only do your rights not come from government, the truth is government rights come from us. In America, we live under the revolutionary idea that we, the people, are sovereign. The federal government has only the enumerated powers expressly set forth in the Constitution. It has only the powers we, the people, give it. Under the 9th and 10th Amendments to the Constitution, all remaining rights and powers belong to we, the people, and to the states, and not to the bureaucrats or politicians in Washington. The founders were very far-sighted in instituting limited government. They knew that every now and then a charismatic demagogue would come along singing a siren song about how much the government could do for you if only you would surrender your liberty. The founders knew that somebody would always want to be King George, or that the inevitable tendency of government is to grow its power and expand its reach over the people. The system of checks and balances the founder created will, if faithfully observed, forever prevent a tyrant or tyrannical government from emerging and ruling the land by personal whim or decree. The founders' ideas are in accord with human nature and have stood the test of time. They are superior to all political theories that went before. Might makes right, let them eat cake, the divine rights of kings, and to every political ideology that has come along since, various forms of collectivism which destroy individual liberty and turn the clock back to when we, the people, were subjects, not sovereign. Individual liberty is the only political idea that is humane, compassionate, and sustainable in the long run. So as you celebrate Independence Day, remember the true meaning of this occasion and why we in America truly have cause for celebration. We, the people, are free. We live in a free country where the people are sovereign, and sadly, that has not been the case for most human beings who have ever walked the earth. Congratulations, you have just graduated. Now, go in liberty and cherish every minute of it. Use your freedom wisely. It's a great gift. And don't let anyone denigrate the magnificence of the founders' ideals, confuse you with sophistry, or take away your liberty without a fight. It's your heritage and your foundation as an American living in this special place. We are so incredibly fortunate to call home. Truly, the IGD is a nod to liberty. Each time I read it, I have goosebumps. The phrase, "and don't let anyone denigrate the magnificence of the founders' ideals, confuse you with sophistry, or take away your liberty without a fight." That phrase encapsulates all the reasons why I came to America. I was craving for a world where people set higher standards for themselves and pursue perfection like the founders' ideals, where people are common sense and practical, away from sophistry, and where those who fight for liberty are heroes and not thrown in jail like I was in the country where I came from because I dared to speak against an oppressive government. Don't give away liberty without a fight. I found that world in America. Indeed, I was an American in spirit, even before becoming an American on paper. And that makes me value my citizenship even more.